What's up, everybody? Welcome once again to the Endzone, brought to you by Gym Bag Entertainment, the show about football by guys that love football. As always, it's your host, Craig, and with my co-host,
your boy Ace.
And we got a jam-packed show for you. We'd like to apologize that you missed out on an episode last week. We did record it. It will now forever be known as the lost episode because it was deleted before it was ever uploaded, and it was a good one. A couple things, maybe to highlight is the fact that we definitely, we both trashed on the Patriots for how much of bums they look like going up against Baltimore. And I got my boy Ace over here to admit that Christian McCaffrey is the real MVP. You remember that you did that.
It's in a week.
I feel you. So, with that being said, you missed out on a great episode, an episode that will be lost to the ether forever and ever. And we always jump right into the injury report, but before we do that, I'd like to take a moment to brag a little bit. So, I quit smoking a couple years ago, almost 3 years ago, and gained 100 pounds, so I decided to set some goals for myself. The first goal was to lose 60 pounds. And if you see some of the footage from my previous episodes, you know that I've reached that goal. I reached 54 and football season started. And once football season started, I had to stop. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Sure.
So goal number 2 was to be able to run a mile without stopping. And, your boy couldn't even get through a quarter mile when I started off. Hacking up a lung and spitting out, phlegm. And now I can run a mile without stopping. And then my final goal was to run one of those Spartan races. I know you've heard of them.
Yeah.
It's a 3.5 mile obstacle course. And I am proud to say that your boy is a Spartan, and I have completed the 3.5 mile obstacle course. And when I tell you, it's tough, it's tough. You're an athlete, you probably have a little bit better time than I did, but I will say, in my own defense, is I never stopped. I think I walked for a total of 1 minute out of the hour and 6 minutes that it took. But it was a good test.
That's amazing, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. They have this thing called the trifecta. You run the 3.5, the 7.5, and then I think it's either 10 or 13.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try and train. Actually, because I didn't train for this one. I only trained the cardio. I didn't train because there was 2 tasks I couldn't do. I couldn't climb a rope. Can you climb a rope?
Yeah.
I can't climb a rope.
We was bad kids.
I'm just saying I can't climb a rope. And then it wasn't like monkey bars. It was the rings. So the rings swing. I couldn't do that. Yeah, my body weight outweighs my upper body strength, but I'm gonna be working on that.
Gotta know your body weight.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll be working on that, but I got the medal. I felt really good about myself,
I'm proud
and
of
I
you,
wanted
Craig.
to brag on the show. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You could check out pictures on my Instagram and on my Facebook page if you want to see the. Me
That
with
boy
the trophy.
shining.
Right? Setting goals and achieving. That's everything. You set your goal, you achieve your goal, and don't start out. I didn't start with a big one. I started with a small one. Lose the weight.
Make it achievable.
Yeah, make your goals achievable, and you'll have success. And that's what I did. So it felt good. All right, now back to football and the injury report. George Kittle missed last week with a knee injury. It was a last-minute decision. They decided to put him on the bench. Will he return next week? We don't know. Will he return this week? We don't know. But he needs to return so he can help his team win games. Also, Matt Breida went out in this game with an ankle injury. So we're hoping to get a return from him. On top of which, Emmanuel Sanders went out with a rib injury. 3 marquee players all out of one game that they were all needed in. In that same game, we lost Tyler Lockett to a bruised leg. It seems like a pretty significant bruise, but not to be considered an injury that will be long-term. They do have a bye week, which is good, gives them some time to heal up. Hopefully he'll be good to go for week 12. Then you have Chris Herndon, who went out early with a broken rib, and apparently it's a high rib. So this takes a little longer to heal, and I don't expect him to return this season. I think it would be pointless. But if he does, it won't be till later on in the season.
Ribs is tough because they heal on their own.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do. There's no such thing as a cast. You just gotta let them heal up. So that's a tough one. Emmanuel Sanders, I don't think it's broken. I just think it's a bruised rib, but that's a tough one. James Conner is listed as to return from his injuries. So it looks like he could be good to go this week going up against Cleveland, which he's definitely going to be needed for. Devontae Freeman, he got injured in this past game, and he will be out for a multitude of weeks, bringing Brian Hill up to the forefront. Jacoby Brissett missed this past week, allowing the Dolphins to dominate the Colts. Will he be back this coming week? We don't know yet, but they do need him to return. Hargraves, not injured, but after getting benched for what Bruce Arians calls a lack of hustle.
I like that term.
Yes.
Lack of hustle.
A lack of hustle got Vernon Hargraves released from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A big blow to the Cleveland Browns defense. Oliver Vernon goes out with a knee injury, expected to miss multiple weeks. Another big injury, Marshawn Lattimore, one of the top corner for the New Orleans Saints, goes out with a hamstring injury. No expectation when he's going to return. This was a surprise to me. Once again, a non-injury situation. Cyrus Jones released from Baltimore. He was their return man. As far as I know, he returned at least one one punt for a touchdown. So I was pretty surprised. I thought he was doing well, but they released him. Another big hit to Atlanta. They lost Devontae Freeman, now also losing Austin Hooper for multiple weeks with an MCL sprain. And then finally, Matt Stafford missed this past week with a back injury. Will he return for Dallas? I don't know. If he does not return, it's going to look really bad for Detroit going up against Dallas. But if he comes back, it could really help this team try to steal a victory. So that's the injury report for the week. And on to Ace for the recap.
All right, here's the recap for the week. It was a tough football week. A lot of great plays, a lot of action, a lot of edge-of-the-seat games.
A lot of unexpected victories.
Yeah, I think this was one of the best weeks in football in a while. And I enjoyed every minute of it.
Absolutely.
So you had the Raiders versus the Chargers. The Raiders beat the Chargers 26-24.
After the Chargers beat Green Bay.
Beat Green Bay.
Crazy.
And then so I'm going with Derek Carr, MVP. He was 21 of 31, 218 yards, 1 touchdown. But my co-MVP will be the Oakland's defense. They forced 3 turnovers and had a touchdown. Eric Harris had 2 interceptions and he returned a touchdown for 59-yard touchdown.
That was
return.
awesome. He had like almost 2 or 3 more interceptions.
Yeah, that just missed his hands.
Oh man,
he was balling.
He was balling out. If he would have caught 2 of those, he'd be MVP.
Yep. And then in the Sunday beatdown, early afternoon, the Ravens beat the Bengals 49-13. My MVP right there is Lamar Jackson. He's
a dog.
15 of 17, 223 yards, 3 TDs, 0 INTs. He had 7 attempts rushing, 65 yards and a touchdown. He ran for a 47-yard touchdown. Did you see that spin?
That spin move? What? Yo, Lamar Jackson is a phenom, son. Now, yes, he's going up against Cincinnati, but like you say, it's an NFL team.
Absolutely agree.
It's an NFL team. And Cincinnati, he was like, they were out there they were playing kid ball out there, just having a great time, and Lamar Jackson was leading the way. It was an incredible game to watch.
Next up, the Bears 20, the Lions 13. My MVP of that is unknown, Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, man.
He was 16 of 23, 173 yards, 3 TDs, and 0 INTs. I think he heard us barking last week, so he came into perform.
He balled out. I'm not gonna hate on him. The boy did ball out.
Next up was the Falcons versus the Saints. The Falcons won 26-9. Matt Ryan, 20 of 35, 182 yards, 2 TDs, 1 INT. There wasn't much going on in that game. It was just grind game, so there wasn't much stats in that.
I would have said if I was going to give an MVP to anybody, it would be Atlanta's defense.
That too. That was my backup because they held them to 9 points, that's big.
I mean, they didn't stop Michael Thomas, but they stopped everything else.
Yeah.
So it was good. Maybe even just say the defensive line. They got at Drew Brees all night long.
Yeah. And the upset of the week, one of them, Tennessee 35, Kansas City 32. My MVP of this game is Derrick Henry, 23 attempts, 188 yards, and 2 TDs. Browns play versus the Buffalo Bills. The score was 19 Browns, 16 the Bills. Nick Chubb for the MVP of that. He had 20 attempts for 116 yards, but he didn't score. The Jets 34, the Giants 27. I'm going with the Jets D. They only gave up 23 yards rushing, 2 turnovers and 2 sacks. So
Not Daniel Jones, huh?
Well, if you hold a team to 23 yards rushing,
Yeah, that's true. Against Saquon Barkley.
so whether they saying he was hurt or not, whatever, but 23 yards rushing is 23 yards rushing. So it's like you gotta take that.
I feel you.
Tampa Bay 30, Arizona 27, and I have a surprise for you.
Oh, yes. Go ahead.
Surprise. This is the first one on the show. I'm going with MVP from the losing team.
Wow.
Kyler Murray, 27 of 44, 324 yards, 3 TDs, 1 INT, and then I'm going to go with the wide receiver, Kirk. He
I
had
can't believe
10
you didn't give it to
targets,
Christian Kirk.
6 receptions, 138 yards, and 3 TDs. I didn't give it to Kirk because Kyler was throwing it to him.
I mean, but Christian Kirk, he went from no touchdowns to 3 touchdowns in one game.
I know.
I mean, to be honest with you, I felt like you had more highlight moments from the losing team than you did from the winning team.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we'll save that conversation because there's some stuff we got to talk about in that game. So when we get to that, we're gonna talk about that game later. So let's continue on with the...
Next up, Miami 16, Colts 12. I'm going with Sanders, the kicker. In a week where a lot of kickers was missing things and, could have sent games to overtime, they missed. They could have won games, they missed. Well, this kicker went 3 for 3. His longest field goal was 48 yards, and he had 10 points out of 16 points that the team scored.
Wow.
So, shout out to the kicker.
Shout out.
Next up, Green Bay 24, Carolina 16. I'm going with Jones. He had 13 attempts, 93 yards, 3 TDs. And then the co-MVP, I'm going with Adams, 10 targets, 7 receptions, 118 yards.
And the most beautiful strip
Yeah.
from a quarterback ever.
Minnesota 28, Cowboys 24. I'm going with D. Cook. He had 26 attempts, 97 yards, and 1 touchdown. But he also has 7 targets for 7 receptions and 86 yards. Seattle 27, San Fran 24. I'm going with Seattle D. They created 4 turnovers, had 5 sacks. Clowney had a touchdown. They was balling.
God,
Last night was a great game.
Can we say best game of the season so far?
Yes.
We can say that because that game.
Facts.
That game was so much fun. Like not having, if you didn't have any stakes in that game, it was the most fun game to watch. If you had stakes in that game, it was the most fun game to watch. Like both teams came to win, and only one person on that team didn't come to win.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why the team didn't win. So
left it all on the field. And last up, because I skipped them, Pittsburgh 17, Rams 12. I'm going with Mason Rudolph, 22 of 38, 240 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 INTs. He got that team going on like a 4-game win streak. So,
shout out to Jalen Ramsey for not letting Juju get nothing.
Nothing. So how did you do this week in your picks?
So I got 4.
Okay. Me too.
Yeah. I went with the Chargers over Oakland. They just came off of beating Green Bay. Wrong. Baltimore over Cincinnati. That was obvious. I thought New Orleans over Atlanta was obvious. 7-1 going up against 1-7. You think that's a victory? Wrong. Giants versus Jets. I went with the Giants. Wrong again. Wait, I thought the Giants did win that game.
No, Giants lost 34-27.
Really? Mm-hmm. Damn. Indy versus Miami. Wrong. Rams over Pittsburgh. Wrong. But then Minnesota over Dallas. I got that one right. Seattle over San Fran. Your boy knew it was coming. And then Green Bay over Carolina. Got to go with Aaron, even though Christian McCaffrey is the real MVP. And then I was wrong about Detroit over Chicago. So I got 4 correct out of 10. How about yourself?
I lost with the Chargers versus Oakland game. I took the Chargers. Oakland won. I lost with the KC-Tennessee game. I took KC. Tennessee won.
Mm-hmm.
I won with the Bears over the Lions. I won with the Ravens over the Bengals. I lost with the Rams over Pittsburgh. I took the Rams and Pittsburgh won. I lost with the Cowboys over Minnesota. Took the Cowboys, Minnesota won. I won with Green Bay over Carolina. I lost with the Colts over, who they play? Miami. I won with Arizona over Tampa Bay because Arizona was getting 4 points.
Oh,
They was the underdog. Remember, that was my dog of the week.
Yeah.
So I won with Arizona. I lost with the Giants over the Jets. I took the Giants and the Jets won. And that was it.
Gotta be pretty sad when you lose to the Jets this year. All right, so 4-4 keeps me down by 3, 45-42. All right, now let's get into I missed the page. Let's get into the news of the week. First off, Colin Kaepernick. We haven't really heard about him much lately. He is holding a private workout for NFL GMs to come and let him showcase his abilities. Do I believe he gets signed? Probably not. He's been out of the league 4 years now. I don't see that happening for him. But best of luck to him. You know, if he's been staying in football condition, I mean, he could be better than a lot of backups. Maybe he can get a backup position. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So that's that. Now, let's talk about this New Orleans-Atlanta game. You got a team, 7-1, coming in against a team, 1-7. It should be obvious who the victor is in this game, but it was not. Let's talk about it.
I can sit here and say I told you so, because on that last episode, if you want to play it back, I told you that this was going to be a good game because that's the Southern rivalry.
Yes.
When it comes to Carolina, Saints, and Atlanta.
Did you say Atlanta was going to win, though?
I did tell you it was. I just said it was going to be a good game.
It was a good game.
I never said that they was going to win or lose. I just said because you were saying it was going to be a blowout, smoke show. I was like, wait a second.
I mean, you know,
it's going to be a tougher game than you think it's going to be because of that Southern rivalry. So I knew that this game could be close just because of the rivalry and how like Atlanta split. Like if you're in Georgia, it's split. A lot of people are Saints fans and a lot of people are Falcon fans. It's weird.
Oh wow.
Because a lot of them, when the hurricane came, they moved up to Georgia. Oh. So you got a lot of Saints fans. So
okay, I feel you.
I knew it was going to be a good game, so it wasn't surprising to me, but I know to the football fans out there it was surprising.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Wow. But yeah, this was an awesome game. Most surprisingly to me was Atlanta's defense stepping up, especially that defensive line. They got at Drew Brees a lot. And key moments of the game where, you know, it was third down and whatever, and that's when Drew Brees, you know, steps up and gets the ball down the pocket, and he didn't get an opportunity to land a strike.
They had him real uncomfortable.
Real uncomfortable. It was really nice to watch. I will say Michael Thomas was a shining light on that Saints team. He was catching everything thrown his way. But it just wasn't enough. They couldn't score touchdowns, and it was a bad game. I mean,
stopped in the red zone a couple times.
Yeah, big stops. Interceptions on both sides of the ball. I mean, the Saints got a key interception at the end of the game to give Drew Brees one last drive, but it was too little, too late. But this was a nice game.
Great game.
Yeah. Miami versus Indianapolis Colts. Anybody who thought Miami was going to win this game is bullshitting. Yeah. Because, I mean, even with Jacoby Brissett out, I thought Brian Hoyer would have did a lot better.
He's trash.
You know what? I was really watching this game. I'm going to tell you, I was paying attention to this game. Playing fantasy, I had Pascal. I mean, watching Pascal, he wasn't getting open at all. I feel like Miami's defense stepped up on the defensive backside. Like, I feel like they were really playing good coverage, man-on-man coverage, and it seemed like nobody on Indy could get open. That's the way it looked to me. But it's got to be pretty sad when you're a team that was on a playoff run and you just lost to a team that had one win all season.
Absolutely. Anybody who loses to them is tough.
Man. So where does Indy go from this?
Well, you know, with Indy, they're going to say they didn't have their guy. So once their guy get back, they feel like they should be okay. But I think they're still a playoff team.
Yeah? Even with Tennessee playing? And
yeah, you know, it's midway through. So at this time you see who's who, and we're gonna find out who's who for the next couple of weeks.
This is a tough one. They're not going to have T.Y. Hilton back for like at least another 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Jacoby Brissett's going to be back this week, but they really got to come back from this tough loss. So we'll see what happens with that. But hats off to Miami, who we've completely labeled as a team that was just tanking the season.
Yes.
And now they get 2 big victories over the Jets and now over Indianapolis. This is crazy. One of the best games, you said, one of the best games of the week, Tampa Bay versus the Arizona Cardinals. This game was extremely fun to watch. Your boy was balling out. Jameis Winston balling out.
Yeah.
It was a great game to watch. What'd you think?
I thought it was everything that the fans paid the tickets for.
Absolutely.
We knew it was gonna be a shootout.
Yeah.
We knew it was gonna be a close game. That's why I went with the underdog in that. I knew that Tampa Bay wasn't gonna go out there and like just kill Arizona, because Arizona plays, like I was saying, they play everybody
Arizona
tough.
held their own against the 49ers.
Yeah, they play everybody tough.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston, he threw for 358 yards, so that's not too shabby from what Kyler did. So
He was
it's like
throwing real well.
they both. I thought it was like a great game, and it came down to who had the ball last, and that was the team who won.
Yeah.
So you can't get that. That's a dogfight. That's part of football. That's the games you love to be in.
Yeah.
Those are the games you love seeing as a fan. So I can't bad talk either team, because I just felt like both teams played extremely well.
Yeah, I mean, you had Ronald Jones running all over the place.
Yeah.
I feel like he's emerging. He has emerged as Tampa Bay's starting running back. You know, like his rookie, I don't know, I think this is his 3rd year. Because I know his rookie year, he was almost non-existent. His sophomore year wasn't doing too well. This year, he's, halfway through the season, he's emerging as a running back to be afraid of. Jameis Winston, like you said, throwing the ball really well. Mike Evans.
Yeah.
You know what? It's funny. I had George Kittle in my fantasy league, and he was doubtful, and I had no backup. And I go on the waiver wire, and there's Jack Doyle and this person, that person, and I seen O.J. Howard, and I'm like, Arizona's not very good at stopping the tight end. I put him in. He gets that big risky catch over his defender, and then he gets the touchdown. So I was really liking what I saw from O.J. Howard, but the catch from Larry Fitzgerald, man, that sideline catch.
That's what he do.
Yo, proving once again why he is truly the best hands in the business. I mean, that catch, the concentration was amazing, and 3 touchdowns by Christian Kirk.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Got some strip balls. David Johnson got stripped. That was really nice. And then the final interception to kind of give Jameis Winston the drive to win the game.
Yeah.
All in all, this was a great game. But Tennessee versus Kansas City. That was a shootout. That was amazing play and an unexpected ending. Let's talk about that one.
I feel like Henry exposed that KC defense. He was running all over them. It was like they couldn't stop him.
You think that Derrick Henry's the person who exposed them?
Yeah.
Because I thought Kansas City was vulnerable to the run most of the season.
Yeah, but for someone to run for almost 200 yards, that's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
You don't really see that a lot.
What was the actual number?
188.
Wow.
But normally you see guys rush for like 150, 160 yards.
Yeah.
You'd be like, damn, tough game. But 188 yards in the NFL, that's a lot.
And especially for a guy like Derrick Henry,
who's a big running back.
Yeah, he's a big running back. He has what I like to call Gronk speed, where it looks like he's moving slow, but his strides are long.
Yeah.
He looked pretty awesome in this game.
And then it was I think this game was more so like a stat game, because you had like Mahomes go for 446, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Wow. Tyreek Hill had 19 targets, 11 receptions, 157 yards and a touchdown.
Wow.
Kelsey had 7 receptions for 75 yards, a touchdown. Like, this is all stats. Like,
yeah.
So
it was a stat game. Yeah.
Yeah. So
this was a game for the fans. And
absolutely.
The fact that the Titans, I mean, can I just say big hats off to Ryan Tannehill. Bro, you come in, as, they bench the starter. He comes in, nothing to lose. And I don't want to say he reminds me of, but the way he was playing the game reminds me of Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Okay.
Because he's got nothing to lose. He has everything to gain, and he's playing to just ball out. He's just doing whatever he has to do to win. And that final touchdown drive where he comes in and he blasts dude at the line to get in for a touchdown, like, that's some real gangster quarterback shit. And Ryan Tannehill had been written off. Like, what? Ryan Tannehill who? And then he comes in this game going up against the best quarterback in the league and steals the victory. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
So this was a good game. Looking forward to seeing what Tennessee has to offer in the future. And then we have to talk about the best game of the week, Seattle versus San Fran.
Man, that's like the defense was so crazy in that game. The defense put the offense in every touchdown scoring drive from both teams. Their defense put that offense in that scoring drive.
Yeah.
It was just amazing to see how well defense was played. Like it really showed like what football really was about last night.
Oh,
and it wasn't like a dirty game. It was like a nice, clean game. It was exciting. Like you wanted to go to bed, but you really couldn't. You had to stay up and keep on watching because it was a really interesting game.
Yep.
And for San Fran to lose their first game like that, hats off to them.
Yeah.
Because they played their ass off, and that's all you would want from a team. Like, not even caring about your record being undefeated, but you want a team that's going to play that hard. Seattle never showed no fight. Like, they showed no fear. I mean, and even some parts when they was down, they still fought back.
Yep.
And it was just amazing. It was a great game.
It was a great game. The things that I loved about this game, I agree with you. Defensive side of the ball, like, it looked like Russell Wilson was driving the ball down the field to end the game in overtime, and then he throws the perfect pass to Jacob Hollister over the shoulder to get the touchdown, and homeboy just comes in and reaches as hard as he can and snatches the ball out of the air for the interception to stop that run. And I'm like, what? I couldn't believe it. What else happened in that game? Clowney picking up the fumble for a touchdown.
Clowney was disrupting a lot.
Oh yeah,
he opened it up. He opened it up a lot for that defense because that whole defensive line was just eating off of sacks because they couldn't do nothing with Clowney.
Exactly.
He showed. Remember what we said before. He showed the difference of him being in a 4-3 defense and being in a 3-4 defense. It's different.
It is different.
And he's showing that.
But and defensively, just both sides of the ball just playing so well. And I want to say even a bigger hats off to San Fran, your best player, George Kittle. Best offensive player, George Kittle, not in the game. You lose Emmanuel Sanders in the second half, and you don't have your number one kicker. You know what I'm saying? You played with all these pieces. They have Tevin Coleman's the number one guy, but Breda got hurt during the game, same as Emmanuel Sanders. But even still, like, you lost all these pieces and you still fought to the end. I did, however, say that I always consider, not always, but I've considered this year that the Arizona Cardinals are like the poor man's version of the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, you said
so
that.
I said Seattle. I thought Seattle would win this game because Russell Wilson just is an incredible playmaker and his ability to prolong the play and give his guys opportunities.
What about when he kept the time and he just floated it to the tight end?
Oh my God!
He caught it like that.
He just caught
with the one hand
as he was going down and brought it in. Oh my God! Like, this game was just filled with amazing moments. Like you said, you couldn't ask for anything more. And this game to be a game that took away an undefeated record, for me, it felt the best because the Patriots lost. Yeah. And so they lost that undefeated record. San Fran was still holding on to it. So I was kind of a little disappointed. So for San Fran to take that loss felt good to me. I was happy about that. That's what I really wanted to see happen. But yeah, all in all, it was just a great game. You had so many turnovers, and nobody was out there barking and complaining. Everybody was just out there playing as hard as they possibly can, and it came down to one kicker making the field goal to tie it up, and he wasn't ready for that stage.
Yeah.
The stage was too big for him. I think that's the mistake. If the 49ers made a mistake, it was not signing a veteran kicker. You don't sign a rookie kicker when you're on an undefeated season. You sign a veteran, a guy who handles the pressure. And they didn't do that. So it was an incredible game. Oh, one other thing I wanted to say about this game that was really cool. On Seattle's side of the ball, 4 of the biggest plays came from players they acquired this season. Jadeveon Clowney being as disruptive as he possibly can. Quandre Diggs gets the key interception.
He was balling yesterday. He had like 2 picks, I think.
Yeah.
1 or 2 picks, yeah.
But the most important was his 1 interception at the end of the game. Not very big moments, but important moments. Josh Gordon comes in on 3rd downs, makes 2 big receptions to continue moving the ball. And Jacob Hollister acquires him from the Patriots, is on the practice squad due to injuries, gets put on, and last week gets 2 touchdowns. This week gets a very big touchdown to move the game forward for Seattle. So those were some good acquisitions that panned out in this game, specifically this game.
Yeah.
All right, now we've talked about the games that were great this week. Let's talk about a guy let's talk about a great one who just isn't looking so great no more. Have we seen the end of Adam Vinatieri?
I don't know, man. This guy's been in the league since '96. From 1996
oldest player in the league
to 2019, he attempted 709 field goals and made 596.
Wow.
He has a 84.1% accuracy rate. 4-time Super Bowl champ with the Pats and the Colts. 3-time Pro Bowl. 3-time first team. He has a record in the NFL for 44 straight field goals made. He has 2,656 career points. His longest field goal was 57 yards. So it's like, Vinatieri, you stop playing when you want to. You already proved your doubters. You can miss 1,000 field goals and nobody's going to be mad at you. Like, you did enough in our lifetime. So, like they say, every dog has his day. So I think his days is coming. But
because this year, he's missed 5 field goals and 6 point after the touchdown, PATs. So, I mean, that's 11 field goals in 11 games.
Yeah.
And
that's unheard of for him.
Yeah,
personally.
Exactly. So, to me, it says, you know what? I've had a great career. Now, I'm starting to not be great anymore. I'm costing my team wins.
He's losing love, so.
Yeah. It might be time to hang up the hat, And
if he does, all love and respect
all
to
love
him.
and respect. One of the greatest kickers to ever kick in the NFL. And I'd hate to see him have to retire. But I think, and I will say that it has been made known that the Colts are working out kickers right now. So they're meeting with kickers and seeing if they want to replace Vinatieri. We'll see what happens with that. But like you said, it was a great career by him. So if he does have to go, he will go with his head held high. Now we must talk about the phenom that is Lamar Jackson. I know you have some stats written down.
You know it. That boy is bad.
Yes, he is.
Right now, he has 2,336 yards passing, 15 TDs, 5 INTs. He rushed the ball for 106 attempts for, what was his rushing? Oh, it was 600 and something yards and 6 TDs. He's having an MVP season.
Yes, he is.
It's I got like a 1A/1B type right now.
Okay.
But he's there. And
I think
what's
so.
surprising me the most is how he's throwing the ball, how he's having fun. He looks like in between a Michael Vick and a Cam Newton. Like you can see like guys love playing with him.
Yep.
Even his conversation with his coaches and stuff like that. Like you can see he loves to be coached, and he's just showing you like what the game of football is really about, and just having fun. And when he's proving all his doubters wrong, when people say he can't throw the ball, he's throwing tight spirals down the field.
He's a player that's showing you that he knows he can be made better, and he can take that and learn how to be better. Last year, you would have never thought he could throw the ball this well.
Yeah, criticism is a real thing, man.
Yeah, and so he's taken his negatives and has now turned them into a positive. When you mentioned his passing yards and his receiving yards, he could be the first ever quarterback to throw for 3,000 and rush for over 1,000. That's history right there. This past game, 220 passing yards, 65 rushing yards, 4 TDs, 158.3 passer rating. That's 100%. He's one of one of two or three quarterbacks to have 2 games in a season with a perfect passer rating. That's extremely incredible for a young guy like this. I mean,
it is.
His ability that we talked about earlier, that spin move, and then even
He's
against
so
the
elusive.
Patriots.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he's amazing, man. Like the fact, and what's terrible is if you think back to before the season started, if you think back a little further than that, before the combine, where they wanted him to try out as a running back
And a receiver.
Mm-hmm. They didn't want him to be no quarterback. Now he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL this season. We're not going to say anything more than this season, but this season playing as one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, showing us that he can do everything and anything on that field. He can make plays, he can extend plays, and he can move the ball. He can move the chains. And I mean, I can't wait to see what this kid does in the future. He's not risking his body. You know, he's going down when he needs to. You know, he's not making the mistakes RG3 made. And another little accolade that involves Lamar, but not just Lamar, is this past week they had 3 Heisman Trophy winners in the backfield. Lamar Jackson, RG3, Mark Ingram. 3 Heisman Trophy winners on the same play in the backfield. There's been, I think, 8 times where there's been 3 Heisman Trophy winners on the same team, not necessarily all in the same play.
Gotcha.
This was in the same play. So that was pretty awesome. So I really like that. But Lamar Jackson, man, it makes me so upset to think that we could have had him.
Yep.
The Patriots, they could have drafted him, and they chose to draft Sony Michel and what's his name?
Wasn't it like a
Wynn,
lineman?
the offensive lineman,
Yeah.
Wynn. I can't think of his first name. I don't know why I can't think. Whatever. But they chose Wynn and Sony Michel over Lamar Jackson. But I've said this to other people, I'm glad that we didn't draft him, because if we drafted him, we wouldn't be getting this show that we're getting right now.
Absolutely.
And who's to say that, Harbaugh isn't the coach for him, Maybe that's why he's doing so well, because coaching is a big thing. Have we seen the end of Adam Gase? Is this his last season as a head coach? First and last?
I don't know. It's tough because with that, like what people don't understand is with any team, when you're coming in as a new coach, they got to give you time to develop that. I don't like when they hire a new coach in 1 year and fire him. It's like give him at least 2 to 3 years and then you can fire him. And that's how I feel about the situation. Yeah. But there's people that feel differently. But I just feel like you can't see production in 1 year. No matter who you get or what you get. We're looking at that with the Browns. They want a production in 1 year, and look at them. It's NFL. You don't just get production in 1 year. It takes time to produce as a team. It takes time for the team to hear your voice as a coach. So all that included, I just think he needs a little bit more time. Maybe next year he can be above 500. Like you say, set goals. So this year's goal was to become a head coach. Now you're a head coach, and next year's goal should be to be 500 and build and build and build off of that. Okay. But I just don't like the fact of just firing a coach over a 1 year span.
And I half agree with that. I half disagree with that. Here's the reason why. Who's the guy who's the coach of Miami?
Black dude?
Yeah. He's Spanish, though, isn't he?
Yeah. But I know. Yeah, whatever.
So, I can't think of his name right now. But for him, it would be an injustice to fire him after 1 season. You tore apart that team. He can't win.
Yeah.
But Adam Gase, he's got Le'Veon Bell. He's got a first-round draft pick, Sam Darnold, Robbie Anderson, Jamison Crowder, all these weapons.
Yeah, but you can have all those weapons, but you still got to be able to know how to coach them. You get what I'm saying? And it's tough coaching talent sometimes when you got so much talent on one team. But at the end of the day, it's like...
There's a lot of people who do, though. Look now.
Yeah, but
look at the flip side.
That's almost like a dime of a dozen. You see more coaches in the NFL, first-year coaches, lose more than they win.
Because, I mean, you have Kavanaugh, coach of the 49ers, first year, 8-game winning streak.
But
Undefeated.
49ers also had over the last 5 to 7 years first-round draft picks. And actually is the first time out of their 6-7 years they're actually healthy.
Yeah,
and they got all these dudes on the field.
They got so many first-round draft picks over on the Jets. Le'Veon Bell, Sam Darnold, Quinnen Williams. I mean, Josh Adams. Is it Josh Adams?
I just think it just I don't know.
got a
I
lot of
just
talent
I
over
just
there.
don't agree with just firing a coach over 1 year. But that's
What
just,
about Freddie Kitchens?
no.
I feel like Freddie Kitchens ain't got control over that team.
Yeah, well,
I feel like I don't
having
like,
control
like,
over a team is one thing,
Yeah.
but just to fire you over winning or losing is another thing. You know, like
don't
if you're a GM and you see that the coach don't have no control over the locker room,
Mm-hmm.
okay, yeah. But if you're a GM and you see that coach is doing a damn good job and you just ain't winning and you're losing, then you got to respect the job that coach is doing. So it's like
even if you lose to Miami.
there's other teams that lost to Miami. Miami got 2 wins.
Yeah, I mean the other win they
Miami
had
should
though,
have-
was off a depleted Indianapolis Colts.
All right, let's be real.
Yeah.
Miami should have about 5 wins right now if they actually play correct football.
True.
And not do dumb things like go for 2 and actually play football.
Yeah, they definitely
They
should
could have
beat
at least.
Washington.
I'm not saying that they definitely would have won those games, but
Yeah.
they could have been in a better conversation to win those games.
This is true.
So it's like it's the NFL. You get what I'm saying? Any given Sunday.
I could give Gase another year, but I don't think
That's
I could
cool.
I don't think I could give Freddie Kitchens another year.
Yeah.
I think Freddie. I don't like Freddie Kitchens, and to be honest with you,
Oh, you
I
got
really
personal
want-
with that man.
I am personal with that man because he did my team. I think that he has poorly coached this team.
Okay.
I'd get rid of the offensive, defensive, and the coach. I get rid of all three of those guys, and I'm bringing in, because I like him. I'm bringing in Todd Bowles.
Okay.
And I'm letting Todd Bowles pick his offensive and defensive coordinator because I love what he did with the Jets. When he had the Jets, I love what he did with them. He had Josh McCown, and he did great things with that team. And I think that he deserves another chance at being a head coach. And I think Cleveland would be the great team for him. Adam Gase, I could give him another year. Freddie Kitchens had like almost half the season with Cleveland last year, and then he got Odell Beckham, and he did nothing with it. I don't think he's a good coach. All right, Robert Kraft wants Gronk to come in for the playoff run.
He need Gronk right now.
He need Gronk desperately.
Desperately.
I mean, no tight end working over there. We lost a game that I think if we had Gronk, might have went a little differently. I would love to see Gronk come back, and I think Gronk comes back and it's all over for everybody else. What do you think?
I don't know. If he comes back, it would be good, but who knows?
Good for football.
Yeah.
I mean, Gronk, is Gronk in football shape? Is he taking this seriously? We haven't heard anything back from him, but that's the news right there. And me personally, as a Patriots fan, I'm excited to hear what his response is going to be. He has made it very clear that he's done with football, but maybe as a favor to Robert Kraft, he comes back to help us get to that Super Bowl. I'd like to see how that goes. Now my question to you is Russell Wilson the true MVP?
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think.
This dude's threw for 2,737 yards.
Oof,
25 touchdowns.
wow.
2 picks, 23 touchdowns.
2 picks over the season?
Yeah, 23 touchdowns and 2 picks over the season. He rushed the ball 50 times for 256 yards and 3 touchdowns.
The man knows how to make time in the pocket.
Yes.
He can extend a play better than any quarterback in the NFL, including Lamar Jackson.
He be in there dancing.
Oh, man.
Hands be on him and everything.
Hands on him.
Yeah.
Hands on him, and he's still getting away. He's like, we talk about how elusive Lamar Jackson is, and this is true. But Russell Wilson is the OG of elusiveness.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, this dude, his ability and like
I don't think
throw
he
a
gets
dime.
enough credit. To see Russell play and see what he do, he don't get enough credit.
I don't think so. I don't think he does.
He's very underrated for what he does on the field.
I do think that this is his best season yet. I feel like, Russell, I like to use this terminology. I use it a lot with the Patriots, is that Russell Wilson is like, and the Seahawks in general, are like boiling water. Just because you put them on the fire don't mean they're hot. They take a little while, but I think they had the flame all the way up this season because they've been hot pretty much the entire season. They're 6-2 now. Mm-hmm. You beat an undefeated team in the best game of the season, and another person in the running for for MVP is Aaron Rodgers, who's also has a 6-2 record, or a 7-2 record, 7-2,
8-2,
an 8-2 record, and you're right on par with a candidate who I think isn't doing as well as you are. I mean, Russell Wilson is he's a beast. Another guy who I think has been overshadowed by the number one contender for the MVP is Dalvin Cook. I think he's being overshadowed by my boy Christian McCaffrey. And another guy who I think isn't getting the limelight because I think his name doesn't ring out, Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones and Christian McCaffrey, 14 touchdowns on the season.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that are balling out. They're balling out of control right now, and names are being overshadowed because Christian McCaffrey has had some flashy moments.
Yeah, because the big names.
Aaron Rodgers' name just rings out no matter where it's at. But, Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, Russell Wilson, these guys are making it happen right now.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, it's never over until the trophy is handed out. But these guys are all big names out there. But Russell Wilson is a guy I'm loving right now.
Yeah.
Top 10.
Top 10. Before we get into the top 10, right?
Let's do it.
I have a quick question
Tell
for
me.
you. Give me your top 5 teams in the NFL right now.
Top 5 across the board.
Across the board.
All right, you got to go number 1 and number 2. I'm not even going to put them in position. Is New England Patriots and the San Francisco 49ers. Those are my top 2. If I'm being honest, after this game, I got to put the Seahawks at number 3. After that game, that was incredible football. Got to go with the Baltimore Ravens. Green Bay Packers.
A lot different.
Yeah. That's our top. Right off the top of my head, you say it. Those are the teams that come to my mind.
I went number 1, Baltimore.
Wow.
Number 2, San Fran. Number 3, Green Bay. Number 4, Patriots. Number 5, New Orleans.
You put the Patriots underneath. Wait, who was number 3?
Green Bay.
Green Bay. You put Patriots up under Green Bay.
Yes.
And you put the Saints over Seattle?
Yes.
Wow. I don't hate either one of the lists. But Baltimore number 1
for what they did to the Patriots, they're number 1 team.
It's not false. It's not right.
And they're the only
team
team in the league putting up like 40, 50 points. They put up the numbers that they're supposed to versus the teams they're supposed to.
This is true.
All these other teams be trying to struggle with these bums. No, Baltimore whoops up on them like they're supposed to.
Baltimore is beating competition. I will say this: the 2 losses they have, 1, Kansas City, 2, Cleveland. Those losses baffle me.
Cleveland's fluky, but KC's a good loss.
KC was a good loss because that was a great game.
Yeah,
that was a great game.
But that Cleveland loss was fluky.
That Cleveland loss baffles my mind.
Yeah,
because how are you this good? How do you dominate the Patriots? Not beat, dominate the Patriots, but lose to the bums in Cleveland. I just don't understand that. But I do love. I like both of our lists. I think both of our lists hold merit in all directions. But Seattle proved something to me.
Yeah, absolutely. But Seattle be my number 6 team.
and New Orleans, New Orleans to me would fall to 6 because of what happened to them against Atlanta.
But that loss to Atlanta is not surprising. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, Atlanta lost to 6 teams this year.
Yeah. But Atlanta, that's their Super Bowl every year. That's like the Southern Super Bowl. That's the Southern Super Bowl. When Atlanta and the Saints play, that's a Southern Super Bowl no matter what. No matter what the records is, it's like our Thanksgiving Day game, East English versus Glasgow. All those records just thrown out the water. It's me versus you, Imano on this Sunday or whatever day, Thursday.
I think I make more of a judgment call because if I were to ask you, surprise team, like biggest surprise of the season, what team pops out into your mind when you hear that?
Biggest surprise to me personally or just overall?
Overall.
San Fran.
Wow. Out of the top 5. Not in the top 5.
Not in the.
Because I agree with you. The biggest surprise to me, I wasn't going to say that because they're in the top 5.
Yeah.
But yes, that's the biggest surprise. Teams not in your top 5, who's the biggest surprise?
Since they're not there, Seattle.
Okay. For me, it's Tampa Bay.
But the thing about Tampa Bay is like the weather.
Yeah,
Good
exactly.
today and bad tomorrow.
But every game that they're in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're in that game.
But Tampa Bay always been like that, though. Even when they was going through 2 quarterbacks, switching out quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Why? Because one quarterback would throw for 500 this night and win.
But their
the
defense
next.
has turned around.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
always their offense keeping the game. Their defense is playing
But
well.
let's not forget, Tampa Bay has a new coach over there.
Yes. 2 new coaches.
They got rid of a couple guys and brought in a couple guys. So therefore, things like that, you got to give it time to gel. By next year, the next 2 years, they're going to be a damn good team.
Oh, yeah, they're going to be.
But they just got to put it all together.
Dangerous.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all. All right, before we run out of it, let's get to this top 10.
So top 10 this week, I got I got a lot of underdogs. I got Pittsburgh getting 3 over Cleveland.
Okay.
I got Buffalo minus 5.5 to Miami. I got the Cowboys, but I didn't know what the Cowboys spread was.
Detroit's getting 4.5.
Okay, so minus 4.5.
So you got.
I still got the Cowboys, no matter what the
Okay.
spread was. I'm going Atlanta plus 5 over Carolina.
Okay.
I'm going Jets plus 1.5 over the Washington Redskins.
Yep.
I got the Saints minus 5.5 over Tampa Bay. I got the Eagles plus 3.5 over the Patriots. I got the Rams minus 7 over the Bears. I got KC minus 3.5 over the Chargers, and I got Oakland minus 10 over the Bengals.
All right. So we got 5 of the same picks this week. That's a little less than what we normally have. So I agree with you.
Because I went with a lot of underdogs this
You
week.
did. I'm gonna switch some stuff up on you though.
Okay.
Because I got Pittsburgh over Cleveland minus 2.5. I got Atlanta over Carolina. Atlanta getting 5.5. That's a surprise to me after the New Orleans beat. I got Baltimore over Houston. Houston's getting 4.5. I got Miami over Buffalo because Buffalo's getting 5.5. So I think that I think Buffalo wins this game, but I don't think that they beat the spread. I got Jacksonville over Indy. Indy's getting is minus 3.5. I got the Jets over Washington. I agree with you there. And here's where I flipped the script. Because of the point spread, I got Tampa Bay over New Orleans. New Orleans just got defeated. I think that they're going to be a little down.
It's going to be another shootout, though.
Marshawn Lattimore will be out.
Yeah, but this game's going to be another shootout.
It's going to be a shootout.
Yeah.
It's going to be.
Every time Tampa Bay plays versus the Saints, they put up like 30, 40 points apiece.
It's probably going to be there's only one other game that could probably be better than this, and it's my next pick. But Tampa Bay, I think they keep it close, and I think this is going to be one of the 2 best games of the week. Arizona versus San Fran. I take Arizona. 11.5 point spread. They've already proven that they could have beaten San Fran.
Yes.
Now, this is the time where they come in, and I think that they might even beat them straight up.
Because San Fran's vulnerable right now.
San Fran's super vulnerable. They lost their number 2 running back. Will Emmanuel Sanders be back? And if he's back, can he play a whole game healthy?
They're all banged up.
Is George Kittle going to be back? And if he's back, is he going to be healthy? It's a banged up team.
Yeah.
Garoppolo looked a little nervous in this past game. I think Arizona and Kyler Murray is dropping dimes, bro. He's dropping dimes.
Oh, you're a believer now.
He's forcing me. He's forcing me to believe in him. He's forcing my hand. I have no choice. The dimes he was dropping on Christian Kirk, I mean, he's looking really good.
He was one of the guys that said he was too small. He
if
wouldn't
you
do this.
If you give him a true offensive line, there's nothing going to stop Kyler Murray.
Give that boy 3 years.
Yeah.
He'll be the next Drew Brees.
I don't think he needs 3 years. I think he needs an offensive line.
No, they need 3 years because they're gonna get that offensive line repaired. Not just because of his game. I'm talking about repair some of the holes.
If he gets offensive linemen, it's over. I take Kansas City over the Chargers, with the Chargers getting 4, and I take Dallas over Detroit, with Detroit getting 4.5. All right, we only got 5 minutes. Let's bang out these games. Give me your top 5 games to watch this week.
Top 5 games, KC versus the Chargers playing on Monday night. 2 teams, they're looking for a win, destined for a win. San Fran versus Arizona. I know that's going to be a good game, dogfight. Falcons versus the Panthers. I want to see the Southern rivalry again, 2 weeks in a row, see what the Falcons could do. Cowboys
Versus the Lions.
See if the Cowboys can bounce back in that game after coming off a loss. The Steelers versus Browns. Let's see if Rudolph can keep up with this momentum and keep winning.
Awesome. All right. My first game is the divisional matchup. Dolphins got 2 wins in a row. Can they make it 3 against the divisional rivals of the Bills? I think it's possible. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch, and I think both teams are going to play as hard as they ever have. I just told you I am looking forward to this New Orleans-Tampa Bay game. Tampa Bay just balled out against Arizona. They have an even stronger test against New Orleans, and I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it might be the most exciting game of the week. I love this Texans versus Baltimore game. Two of the best mobile quarterbacks in the NFL going head-to-head. This game can be so exciting. It's gonna be a lot of offense, a lot of defense. Can't wait to see how it plays out. And then I gotta go New England and Philly. It's the rematch of one of the greatest Super Bowls that we've ever seen of all time. It was one of the most offensive games you've ever played. But now Carson Wentz has got the ball in his hands, and I can't wait to see. New England's got something to prove.
Points.
Yeah, New England is going up against a team after losing. Everybody said they hadn't faced any true talent. They faced some true talent and they lost. They got to prove that this defense can beat a talented team, and there not many teams more talented than Philly on offense. And then finally, I want to see another divisional matchup, Jacksonville versus Indy. I'm hoping Brissett will be back to make this game more competitive, but Nick Foles is taking over this team. The magic mustache has been benched, and Nick Foles is taking over the helm and should improve this team's offense tenfold. But if Brissett's not back, it's going to be a one-sided game. If Brissett's back, this could be a back-and-forth, exciting, intense matchup, and I'm looking forward to it very much. So, with that being said, we got 3 minutes left. Let's knock out as many as we can. Let's get my MVPs. All right. So, Pittsburgh versus Cleveland. Who's your MVP?
Kyle Rudolph.
Atlanta versus Carolina.
Matt Ryan.
Not Christian McCaffrey, huh? Okay. Baltimore versus Houston. Who's the MVP?
D-Watt.
Wow. Big surprise. Miami versus Buffalo. Who's the MVP?
Miami's D.
Miami's D. Jacksonville versus Indy. Who's the MVP?
Foles coming back.
Cowboys versus the Lions.
Zeke.
Broncos versus the Vikings. That's a tough one.
Cook.
Yes. Saints versus the Buccaneers.
Thomas, because he can go crazy, him or Breeze.
Beautiful.
Thomas can have like 3 touchdowns, or Breeze can have like 500 yards passing. So.
Absolutely. Jets versus the Redskins.
Let's go with Bell.
Okay. 49ers versus the Cardinals.
Let's go with Kyler and
Kyler Murray?
Larry Fitz.
All right.
David Johnson.
Bengals versus the Raiders.
Carr.
Yes. Bears versus the Rams.
I want it to be Trubinsky, because if it's Trubinsky, then the Bears win. But that's a tough one.
I like Cooper Kupp. I think he needs the rebound. He had
You
0
always love
catches.
Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp's one of my favorite.
Last time you said that he had 0 catches.
He had this past week. 0 catches.
And you said that he was gonna. You said he was gonna be MVP last week.
0 catches, man. Yo, he hurt my feelings. He hurt my heart. It was terrible. And it wasn't. Cooper Kupp catches everything. Every pass thrown his way, he dropped, and it was all defense. It was all defense. The defense was making him drop those passes. Patriots versus the Eagles. Let's be real.
We're going with Wentz.
Really? Not Julian Edelman?
No.
It's going to be Julian Edelman.
Okay.
And then finally, an awesome matchup, divisional matchup, Chiefs versus the Chargers.
Patrick Mahomes.
Absolutely, all day. All right. So that's what we have for you. Our time is up. Check out our show on YouTube, Gym Bag Entertainment. And until next week, we'll see you in the end zone. Have a good night.